I just launched my new collection Countryside Cuties in my shop. A bunch of cute farm animals as pins, washi tape, planner and notepad, stickers and more. Also, I'm on Patreon. Links are in the description box below. I truly appreciate your support, guys. Thank you. Regular brush tip versus the new Supreme brush tip. I promise there is a difference between these. Hello everyone! Ohuhu have really been upping their game lately with a bunch of new products, which I have reviewed some of, and I have only had positive experiences. So I have very high hopes for these new Honolulu Plus markers, which got this new improved brush tip. So the Honolulu Plus markers comes in this new fancy case, and inside we got the markers obviously, but we also got the protective plastic sheet that you can put under the paper that you're drawing on to prevent the ink from bleeding to the surface underneath. We got a swatch card that I've already filled in, a booklet with all the different markers and colors. Yeah, here's the marker itself. We got the Supreme brush tip at one end, and then at the other end we got a chisel tip. Also a big thank you to Ohuhu for sponsoring today's video. But even if this is sponsored, I will still share my own and honest opinion as usual. Sponsored or not sponsored, Ohuhu always let me be honest in my reviews, which I super appreciate. They even encourage me to do comparisons to other brands, which to me seem like they have high confidence in their product. I have tried their alcohol markers, water-based markers, paint pens, color pencils, and different kinds of drawing and marker pads, and I can highly and genuinely recommend them. And links to their new Honolulu Plus markers is in the description box below, along with a 10% discount code for you guys to use. So what is new with this improved Supreme brush tip is that it is made out of rubber, which makes it more durable and resistant to wear and tear compared to a regular nylon tip. The new rubber tip is very pointy, which makes it more precise for small areas and detailed work. It is also super flexible and it follows your hand movement, which makes a smoother drawing experience. It is very versatile since you can make all from super fine lines to thicker strokes. Comparing it to the old brush tip, the old tip is a little stiffer and it doesn't have the same kind of light wispy look at the very end of the tapered lines. I still think the old brush markers are great, but when comparing them side to side, the new one just feels more professional and a little nicer to draw with. It runs smoother on the paper. So from just testing the markers very briefly, I have to say that the new Ohuhu brush tip and the nib on the Copic sketch markers both feels and look very similar. The Copic nib is made of polyester, I think, but they have the same kind of flexibility and make the same kind of wispy strokes. If we compare them side to side, they do look super similar. The strokes make the same kind of feathery shapes at the ends, which makes for a more seamless blending when coloring. One of the bigger differences between these two is that the Copic sketch marker is around $9 each, give or take, while the new Ohuhu Honolulu Plus markers is around $1.6 each. Keep in mind though that the Honolulu Plus series only comes in sets of 24 and 36 so far at the time when this video is filmed. Anyway, let's try them out by making some art and I will let you guys know what I think of them. Sometimes when I make art, especially for YouTube, I don't always feel inspired and I have to think very long and very hard on what I want to make, what will be fitting for the art medium that I'm going to use, what colors do I've got to work with, etc. This time I did actually have a clear idea of what I wanted to draw, and that is a magpie with a matching kitty, matching meaning black and white, just as the magpie. Magpies are my favorite kinds of birds. They are very playful playful and super smart. They've got a lot of personality. We have a bunch of them living in the area around our home, and I often see them walking around on our lawn. They're just super fun to watch. I traced the sketch from the iPad to this Ohuhu marker paper, and if you haven't seen my review of it, I will have a link below. I can really recommend it. There is a whole playlist of me testing different products from Ohuhu. So this paper is 100% bleed proof, so I won't have to put any kind of protective sheet or plastic or paper underneath, which is amazing. So I'm diving straight into coloring the background, starting with a lighted color in the middle and then working my way out to the darker edges. I want to look like the sun is shining and glowing through the foliage. Also, I just want to mention regarding the marker pad that because of this special bleed-proof coating, the ink dries a little slower. It is great for when blending the colors, but the lighter tones might look a little darker right when they are applied, but they get lighter once they dry. I just wanted to mention that just in case you noticed that the colors changed a little during the process. So spring has finally sprung here in southern Sweden. It is still a little early and it will take a few more months before everything is green, but nature is starting to wake up again. It is warmer, longer and lighter days and insects are buzzing around. There is a lot of butterflies, so this piece is very much inspired by springtime with the warmer yellowish greens, the pastel tones and cherry blossoms. The cherry trees here won't bloom until May or so, so I just have to enjoy them like this for now, drawn on paper. I did take some artistic liberties though, I might mention. Usually cherry trees bloom before they grow the green leaves, so technically they don't look like I have drawn it. The flowers comes before the leaves, but that is just the best part of creating art. I suppose you can do whatever you want, and I just wanted the green leaves with the pink flowers. So leaving the cherry trees for a bit, let's talk about the markers, the Honolulu Plus markers and the fancy pansy tip. I'm gonna be totally honest, when I first heard about this new super flexible rubber tip, I was a bit skeptical, or maybe not skeptical, worried is a better word. Not that it would be bad or anything, but because I personally don't like when brush tips get too flexible and is risking to feel wobbly or flimsy. But apparently I had nothing to worry about because these Honolulu Plus markers were a pleasure to work with. I never thought they felt flimsy or hard to control. On the contrary, they felt natural and intuitive to work with. In this piece, I got to color in larger areas and also tiny details, and they worked perfectly for both. The versatility of the brush tip makes it so that you can do both super broad strokes and also very fine lines. And since you can create lighter and more feather-like strokes with this supreme nib, the blending went super smoothly. I first thought that I would only use the new Honolulu Plus markers in this piece, but I had to scrap that idea since I was lacking some colors, which I will get back to in just a sec. So I had to bring out some of the old brush tip markers too. So I used a few grays and browns and a pink, which I'm actually happy that I did, because when using them side to side like this, working on an art piece, I could really tell that there is a difference. The new nib glides a lot smoother on the paper, while the old nib is kind of gripping the paper slightly more. You can feel the friction. The old brush tip in general just feels more stiff. It is still great and I love it, but the new one, it does feel more professional. You might remember a few years ago when Ohuhu first released their brush tip markers and we all thought, this is it, now Ohuhu is really giving Copic a run for their money. Same thing when Ohuhu released their marker refills, but I think that this, the Supreme Rubber Brush Tip, might be the true and final game changer. You basically get the same drawing experience as with Copics, only a lot cheaper. We're getting all those things that used to be limited to the more professional and more expensive marker brands, but to a more affordable price. So even if you are younger or if you are on a budget, you can still enjoy good quality markers. Now, while Ohuhu have over 300 colors, there are only 24 and 36 color sets to choose from this Plus series. I have the 24 set, and to be honest, I think the color selection could be improved on. There are many pastel tones, which I love, and a few darker tones, but I could have wished for more mid-tones. Some colors are way too similar. It is like having duplicates, which could have been switched out for other colors for more variety. But with a 36 color set, there seemed to be more variety, which is good. But that's my only critique, really. Again, these markers are brand new. I'm pretty sure that there will be more color options in the future. Other than that, I am more positive than I thought I would be, considering I was a bit skeptical at first, but I really like these markers. Other things that could be worth mentioning is that they are very juicy. Even when coloring the larger areas for the background, they never felt dry. And you might think that they could be noisy or squeaky because of the rubber tip, but they are very silent. They didn't make any more noises than the old brush markers. And even after making this whole art piece, the markers that I use the most, which are the lighter greens, they still feels and look just as new, no fraying or anything. So can I recommend these new Supreme rubber brush tip markers? Yes, definitely. I think this is the most professional marker from Ohuhu so far, and I am really impressed. So yeah, finishing up this little magpie and kitty art, and I have to say I am actually a little proud of myself that I drew a bird that looks like a bird. I don't draw a lot of birds and I often struggle with the anatomy, but I think this turned out pretty good. So at the end I'm bringing out the Ohuhu color pencils that I have also reviewed, and I use them to add all the finishing details and line work. I want to keep the soft look of this art, and then I think color pencils is a great alternative to the bolder fine liner lines. The color pencils gives the art a nice texture too that I like. Some of the flowers and leaves I left without line work, so they would blend in more with the background. I also added some highlights and details with a white paint pen, also from Ohuhu. And yeah, I am very happy with how this piece turned out. I love the cat, the magpie, the cherry blossoms, the colors and everything. It just makes me think of springtime and I love it. And if you like this art too, this will be the Patreon exclusive print and sticker for April, so make sure to sign up for the male cat tier over at my Patreon during the month of April, and you will get this print sent home to your mailbox. So yeah, I hope you found this review helpful and interesting. I had a lot of fun testing these new Honolulu Plus markers and making the art. Links to all the products that you've seen in this video are in the description, and don't forget to use the 10% discount code. Thank you so much Ohuhu for the markers and for sponsoring today's video, and thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time. Keep drawing my happy cats. Bye!